Port Alberni for hosting this. And thank you to people coming to Port Alberni for making this possible. This is a day of unity unseen before in this community. Thank you so much for coming, for showing up, for being here with us all today. We have earned this day. We have invested hundreds of hours of personal time, money, to come here today to ensure the future for our children. I stand up here today as the MC with great pride in our community. I am proud to see so many of you here, unified in an effort, a common effort that will result in change for our children. You all deserve a big round of applause. So can I get a big freedom? I couldn't hear that. Can I get another round of freedom? Wow, man, I thank you, but that just wasn't enough. I don't think this town heard from you. Come on, real loud. Thank you. That's awesome. Okay, so what I want to do is first acknowledge that we are on the unceded territory. We are on the unceded territory of the Shushat and Hoopishet First Nations and the traditional lands that they live in memorable. We thank them today for allowing us to be here. Sorry, the wind's blowing. Today, I feel extremely privileged to introduce a friend of mine. She is an amazing woman whose voice resonates with every single person she addresses. Her name's Serena Freedom Bear, and she has come here to share her love, hope, and wisdom with you. So I humbly present to you, Serena Freedom Bear, where are you? You have to come around the back for the ladder. And I'll just say that there is no washroom facility on the property here. So if you do need to use the washroom, you're gonna have to walk down to Harbor King, which is about a 5-minute walk. So prepare yourselves accordingly.
Hello everybody. I brought baby Freedom Bear with me. That was a gift from my auntie. So she said, I see Freedom Bear sitting on the stage when you speak. And so if you want to hug that Freedom Bear, you come up. This was also a gift as I arrived today. And if any of you don't know what this is, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge the orange shirt for the Every Child Matters. This is why I speak up and use my voice. Because what took place and what is taking place right now in Canada to all our nations first took place to my nations, to our First Nations people of this land. This is the only evidence and proof that you need that this has already been done before. And now we see how they so divide between us and those who don't understand what's going on. They started doing that first down when they were in Ottawa, saying this was a racist and misogynistic movement. And that's when my line was crossed that I needed to speak up. As a First Nations woman, as a strong, resilient, Indigenous woman of this land, I am not a racist. I use the medicine wheel as I was taught by my elders in healing with women in sacred circle tradition. I am not a misogynist. My ancestors survived the genocide on our people, where the past system was used for them to be able to use the reserves, for those who don't know that, to leave the reserves, to go out and get groceries, to hunt, to whatever. Our children were taken away and put in these residential schools, and if our families, our ancestors tried to stop them, they were locked up. While the rest of Canada looked the other way because of the divide that was sown. This is not about shaming. This is not about shaming. This is about saying, look at the tactics. Look what they did before and look what they are doing now. When we look out there in Canada and we say, why are people so blind? Why are people so ignorant? Why are people not awake to this? Because they're using psychological warfare like they used before. But we're not awake or blind to this. We're not going to sleep to this anymore. We are carrying the burden of this truth because we see the damage it has done. I had a friend yesterday I ran into in the grocery store, and she's awake, but she's kind of more secretly sends me messages awake. And she said, "You're still going to a rally? Why are you going to a rally? Aren't the mandates lifted? Like, we're all going out for dinner because now our passes, they're not asking for the pass." And I said, "No, this is not over. This is not over. That's right, it just begun." The government has shown us their overreach and their abuse of power. They have violated our freedoms and our rights, and they are dismantling our democracy around us. They have shown us how far, just a taste of how far they are willing to go. I got a message yesterday from another strong, resilient Indigenous woman who actually convoyed from my nation, Sucker Creek First Nation, Treaty 8 territory. She convoyed with the original convoy down to Ottawa. Okay? She messaged me because she got a call, and I know some of you are live streaming, and every time I say some of the names, I get a warning or my video gets shut down, so I'm going to use code. She got a call from a political prisoner who was arrested in Ottawa during the War Times Measures Act, who is still being held as a political prisoner with the last name of Royalty. Called her yesterday. She has an update for everybody, and I have had permission to share it. Freedom George from High Prairie, Alberta, whom I went to school with, also from Treaty 8 territories, traditional lands. Pat, with the last name of Royalty, and Byron, a Métis freedom fighter, are all still being held as political prisoners right now and do not have legal representation. They are being abused physically. They are being abused spiritually, mentally, and emotionally right now where they are being held. This is what was relayed, and I was given permission to share. We need to remember the first ones who have sown the freedom seeds across this country to wake us up and to carry the burden and to unite us. We are united now, because when I saw them, a clansmother being trampled by horses by the police, we cried with them. Our hearts ached for what they were carrying and what the courage they had to stand together, and we held the line here at home. And that's what we're still doing, because this is just starting. Now in Ontario, Bill 100, what we saw them do during the War Measures Act is what they're trying to now pass to bring in, where they can not just seize your bank accounts, they can seize your homes, your licenses, they can arrest you. That is communism. That is a huge violation of our sovereignty. This is our children and our grandchildren's futures. That's why we speak up. That's why we need to be brave. Because if we are cowards now, who will stand for our children? We have to carry this peacefully and respectfully. You can't be intimidated. You can't let them scare you with tickets and blockades and threats. Know what you're standing for and know the honor and integrity in it. We stand for those who are asleep. We stand for those who have lost their jobs. We stand for those who have been vaccine injured. We stand for those who lost their lives. We stand for those who lost their life due to the lockdowns and the mental health and the suicides. We stand for the RCMP officers who their brothers and sisters watch them be discriminated against and fired, let go of. We stand for all the healthcare workers who have lost their jobs, all the union workers. How about that nurse who packs my groceries in Chemainus? I stand for her. How about my friend in Alberta who told me her mother, a nurse, ran a long care facility for elders. She was dismissed without pay. And because of that, she can't access her pension. 62 years old. 62 years old, this was her career. And she can't access her employment insurance either. How about them? This is not over. And for her, she can return to her position. For those that said, yes, we'll take back those who were wrongfully fired. But they are not allowed to go to other positions. They can only return to their original position. But if that position has been filled, then they can't. Okay? How about the bills in Alberta that they're trying to pass? You guys, this is happening all across our country. And never again will we turn a blind eye to that which is not impacting us personally, like we did in the past. We are united now. We see. And we're going to stand for that which is right and just and moral. And we're going to carry the burden of it because that is the greatest honor. Remember why we are awake and what we are awake for. I want to say thank you. Thank you for being invited here to speak. And thank you to each and every one of you for the part you're carrying in this movement of freedom. Standing here, waving your flags, joining the convoys, baking, organizing, doing the convoy, the Zello radio, sharing the posts, sending the private messages, having the difficult conversations. It's all needed right now. Every part that every single one of you are carrying is needed. Now I see a friend here, and I want to give her a moment to please come and share. And I'm looking at her, and she's saying, "You're not looking at me, are you? Tammy, would you come for a minute? You have a beautiful voice, and I would love for you to explain something. I would like to ask, and this is the first ask I have ever done, and if it is right and in alignment with you, I would like Tammy to explain something that her group is working on. I got to sit in with them in their meetings, and it is something really beautiful that is a movement that's going to move all across Canada. And if it feels right in your heart, perhaps you might feel called to make a small donation towards it. Tammy, would you please come explain it, because I can't do your words justice. I want to say, though, before I pass it to Tammy, thank you, everyone. Thank you. Keep standing for honor, keep standing for integrity, keep standing for morality, keep standing for the truth, keep carrying that burden. Because even as they bring down the mandates, they already talk about the next ones coming back in. This is not done. I love you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for coming out. I don't know, back in the early 80s, we had the biggest rally ever on Vancouver Island, and that was the forest industry. When the government tried to shut down the forest industry, we had over 20,000 forestry workers that went to the Parliament buildings in Victoria. What we did after that, to make the communities aware of how much money forest industry brought into their communities, we put stickers on our dollar bills. Now, this was well before we had Interact. And we had on there, it said forestry dollars. So our group, which is out of the Cowichan Valley, have come up with an idea. As of April 8th, we are putting Canadian flag stickers on all of our money. We are going back to using cash because we need to show not only these restaurants, but we need to show the community how much of our freedom dollars are coming back into this community. We can do that. The truckers are doing it. They're going to put it all across Canada. We can do that. It's a small part. It's inexpensive. We are getting the design closer. We have the design already made up. So anybody that's interested, please let me know and I'll put your name on the list and we will make sure those stickers get out there. So we're going back to cash And if you have to use plastic for a bigger purchase, we're going to have little cards that you can put out and say, these are freedom dollars. And damn it to hell, we're not going away. You cannot ignore us. Because without us, these restaurants would not survive. They have to know they're hiring our children, our families. We have to stand and we have to fight and we have to make them recognize us when we're not in there. That is a constant reminder. So please, go back to paper money, and let's get those stickers out there, gang. Thank you.
Thank you, Tammy. And so that's what I said when I said if you feel called to do a donation, it is for the printing of these stickers to be distributed. And so if you feel called that you want to help support this, please come see Tammy specifically, because this is something that her group is moving and doing their part in standing for our freedom and standing for each and every one of our children, our grandchildren, and all our nations. Thank you. Hi, all my relations.
I told you she was amazing. I did not lie. I almost forgot though, we have a very special singer. You want to come up? And she is going to sing the Canadian National Anthem backwards in French. She's been practicing all week. And then after that, we will get on to Michelle. So I hope everybody remembers the words in French and backwards. What? Maybe we should just do it regular. Okay, here you go. Thank you.
Alright, so I'm Cassia, and standing here for freedom, right? So let's let Port Alberta hear us sing this loud and proud. Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all our sons' command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Amazing. Thank you so much. That was awesome. Thank you, everyone. I have Michelle who's coming up here. Be careful on the ladder there, please. And then after that, I think we will be able to get Jewel up here to sing us another song. Watch it.
Hello, everybody. Wow, thanks for having us here in Port Alberni. This is fantastic, snow and everything, right? So I've been given the privilege and the responsibility of standing on many of these stages. And I'm doing this to channel the power from each and every one of you for the future of our children. So what I want to hear is I want to hear power, but I need you guys to come in close because we're standing together. So come on in. Get in here. Closer. Closer. You guys can come closer. We're standing together, man. We have to be together, and we have to do this with power and with courage. Okay, so we are here bringing forth our power. Let's hear it. Our word. And again, our power. And one more time, our power. Yeah, you got it. So we've got some really great things that have happened in the last couple of weeks. Mandates have lifted. Yay, we get to see smiles all over the place again. Fantastic. But we're not done. We are not done. We have this tiny little window between now and maybe a few weeks, maybe the fall. We've already heard the announcement, so that there's going to be more lockdowns in the fall. There's going to be more mandates in the fall. Yeah, right. What I'm curious for is what they're going to create between now and the fall, right? So we need to share that thought with as many people as we can, because when they create it, they're going to go, oh, somebody said they were going to create something out here, right? Is this going to be another variant? I heard there's 4 more variants coming out. B-U-L-L, S-H, and I-T, right? Yeah. Maybe it's not the variants. Maybe it's hemorrhagic fever. Ooh, which is very, very, very similar to the symptoms of reactions to these shots, right? So the clotting, the bleeding, the strokes, the death. So my name is Michelle Riddle. I was, until last week, an occupational therapist. I am a team lead with the Canada Health Alliance. And we are here to make a new paradigm. Yeah. And we're going to shift that together with everybody. And this is going to be about the people and for the people. And we're not going to let the media take this and spin it. Because right now, when the criminal elite are pissing on us, the media is telling us it's raining, right? And it's not. How many of you were in Campbell River a couple weeks ago? Woo! All right. I heard there was, I don't know, 50 people there? Yeah, that was total bullshit. There was a couple of thousand people there. That's spectacular, right? I've presented in Victoria, and they have shown nothing when we've had 15,000 people on the streets there, right? So the media is not sharing anything. We need to share. That's our task, that's our job, and we have a tiny window to get this stuff out there. People are listening, people are paying attention. I had a time where I was in Vancouver. I was trying to get across town. It was a dark night. Anybody know the east end of Vancouver? And I'm following my little blue line. Well, in between the buildings, the little blue line disappears. It's like, oh, okay. So I pulled off the road, and I pulled in front of this car, and there was a guy sitting in the front seat of the car, and this guy jumps out and comes and knocks on my window. I wind down my window. He's like, hey, what do you think about the truckers movement? I'm like, well, what do you think I think? My car was all flagged out. He's like, I gotta talk to you. Can I come in your car? I'm like, yeah, hop in. So this guy from the east end of Vancouver on a dark rainy night hops in my car. Well, he was just in Ottawa. And he was in Ottawa for the last couple of days of the movement there. And he stood on the front lines with the power. And he said it was the most amazing thing that he had ever felt. And it was the strongest he had ever felt. When the cops were coming with the billy clubs, when the cops were coming with the pepper spray, the people just stood. So I need everybody to come close enough so that you can take a hand, you can take an arm, you can touch somebody. Move in tight, because I need you to feel that power. This is the power that we're bringing forward for our children, because we can't have our children living in a world where experimental drugs that kill people are put in their bodies. We can't have a world where the media is telling our parents to put experimental drugs that kill people in children's bodies. We can't have medical people that we are considering our trusted professionals telling families that they need to shoot up their kids with substances that are going to sterilize them. We can't have digital passports for everything. Because if you don't do what the government says, you can't buy your gas, you can't get your insurance, you can't buy your groceries, you can't go into the places where people would normally gather. We can't let that happen. No. And we've seen this. As Serena said, we've seen this through history. We've seen this in our country. We've seen this around the world over and over and over again. This is open book. We don't need a cheat sheet. We've got the whole book right in front of us. The whole book telling us that there are evil people out there who are trying to kill us. There are so many places that our spiritual energy can come forward, that our power can come forward. This is a war of energy. This is not a war of weapons. Our weapon is our power. Our weapon is that strength to stand. Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to do an exercise for power. And we are going to build that power here because we need to. I'm speaking next weekend in Vancouver. I'm speaking tomorrow, not next weekend. I'm speaking tomorrow. And we need to neutralize Bill Gates, Elon Musk, and Al Gore. Those three are presenting together in Vancouver tomorrow, well, through the week. And we are going to be there to bring the energy forward to neutralize these people. So we need to power that up. Take a hand, breathe in. And as we let go, we're going to let it go. We breathe it in. Feel that power, feel that strength. Okay, let it go with a sound. Whoa! Yeah, we're gonna do it 2 more times. Bring it up. Feel the power. We have the power. Neutralize those forces. Whoa! And the last time, bring that up. And we're gonna do this for our kids, for our future, for our kids' future, for our grandchildren's future. Because we have a world that is worth living in. We have love that can power, and we're going to do it with love. The first time in history, we are going to win a war with peace and with love. Let it go. Oh! Thank you, Port Alberni. We've got this. Yeah.
She's amazing. This is just incredible. So next we're going to have Jewel come up and do a little song. She's just going to take a minute to get set up. I just want to remind people that we have a children's section over behind the motorhome here. You can come over. There's coloring books. There's Play-Doh. There is face painting. We did bring the bouncy castle. However, we're not going to set it up today because of the concrete. We'd hate to see somebody get hurt. So unfortunately, that will be postponed for today. I just want to ask you, how many of you have heard of the World Economic Forum? Yeah, I just found out about it myself yesterday. The World Economic Forum, or the WEF, is steeped in communist ideology. They promote lockdowns, mandatory injections, and a system of digital identification. I don't know if you heard about digital identification, digital currencies. Yeah. It's imperative that we do all we can to preserve our liberty and find out just how far the WEF has infiltrated the country and our institutions. You will be shocked, if not disgusted, when you find out what these people have done and are continuing to do as we stand here and talk about this today. It is disgusting. So I encourage you to go to their website, look up on their website, their very own website. They don't hide this stuff. Look up on their website and see who their partners are. And you know, they talk about biometric data. Sorry, we talk about biometric data. And they're harvesting the biometric data. And my wife's a type 1 diabetic, and she has a little sensor on her arm that stops her from having to prick her finger, 8 to 10 times a day. That little sensor is made by a company called Abbott. And when you look at the partners list, the very first company, or one of the very first companies, happens to be called Abbott. So I'm saying to myself, I wonder what other data they are giving from her.
I'll give you a shout when I'm back.
Many of those partners, those key partners, are doing business in our very town here. Partners like Walmart, partners like Royal Bank of Canada. People, I don't know if you've ever drank a Coca-Cola or a Pepsi. Guess what? They are on that list. There is hundreds of companies on there. You will be disgusted to find out what they plan to do. We are useless mouth eaters to them. They want to reduce the population to 500 million people on the planet Earth. And guess what? We're not one of those 500 million people. So when we have people up here talking about going back to using cash, I love the convenience of my debit card. I love using my credit card. But I'm going to ask you to stop doing that, to start using cash. We need to get back to cash, because if we don't, these people are going to take every single thing we have. Are you ready? Okay, I'm going to turn my mic off and shut up. Let Jewel go. Thank you.